He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Welcome back to another episode of the Ministry of Truth. I am your host, and I am Javi. Most of you know that, so there's no really reason to get into it too much. But got a lot of interesting stuff to go over today. We've got Ron DeSantis and Pride Month. Got a little Kamala Harris, and if the black community has a favorite quote of hers or accomplishment. We got Stacey Plaskett being controlled by a staffer or, lizard person. We'll get into that in a second. It's only about a 45-second clip. You've got a cop who decides his feelings matter. And some more LGBT stuff. Oh, there's a video missing. Holy shit. I'll get that while I'm loading up the next one. But anyway, before we get into this, got a little something to show you from a pretty good known show because they have way more stuff than I do. But this is from Nanya Ghetto Business Doll. I don't think I put her. No problem, Dragonfly. But it's supposedly exposing me. Well, Nanya, let's expose the stuff together. Should probably put it in. Trust me, there's sound later. Let's get to it. I didn't make this, by the way, so don't hate at me, but at the same time, I liked it. And so did a few other people. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, shit, I forgot to put my shirt on. We're actually here right now in this stream.
Oh, she had a whopping 7 people? Wow.
I mean, it went up when I was there, but then it went down again. I think it was me.
I
don't understand why. I'm a good-looking motherfucker for 41.
I was going to say, I heard
funny story,
about
Pat. That was actually
admire myself
all in one stream.
Here, I'll tell you what.
Hold on.
Can you put me on the big
screen?
That's what I'm going to do.
I'm telling you, bro, you really need a fan.
I'm going to put you on solo layout so you can admire yourself.
I don't need a fan to look
Ladies,
this good.
calm down. Men, calm down that like men. And
got a weird nose.
Down,
But look at that son of a bitch.
Damn, you're a sexy mofo.
Egotistical.
Holy shit, your hair
Same time talks about the weird holes in my nose and how one's bigger than the other, like it's supposed to be.
Is that good? All right.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
Good.
I'm
I didn't show Jeff
shit right now.
Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's about
the many faces of Javi.
Lieutenant Dane in here. Lieutenant Dan. Shout out.
Do you know who looks like a Wish version of Lieutenant Dan?
Who does?
Kurt. You see me laugh?
Justine, get my wheelchair. You know, the one that only cost $2,000. Justine! My legs.
The rest went to Grumpy Cup.
They're there.
You know, Nanya actually has a repo order for that wheelchair. I wish she was still up here so she could show it, but she dipped down. Unless you have it, Javi. I don't know if you have a copy.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was reading Ghetto's comment. Yeah, there was 7 people watching when it went out, and I'm pretty.
Look at that guy. Wait, that's a different picture at the bottom. That's not. Ah, yes. The best picture of them all. I got the wheelchair back, guys. I got the wheelchair back. Little humor for us. Now, there was a video that I had at the beginning. It's about 11 minutes long. It has to deal with LGBT pastors and Bo Diddle. Those of you that don't know Bo Diddle is kind of a religious troll. But at the same time, he really doesn't troll, so to speak. He just asks questions. And then shit hits the fan from there. So this is a compilation of him visiting LGBT churches.
To do anything.
Just wanted to
You
point that
get
out.
out of here. I'm not the minister.
Leave my church.
Do you believe that you can be LGBTQ and Christian?
Of course.
What's up, guys? Intro to the intro. Real quick before we
Yeah. Don't ask me where I got it. This is like last year. You like that? Back to the video.
started, which by the way, this is going to be a beautiful video. If you guys want to support me, you guys can now get 1 month for free on Locals using code BOWFREE. You guys can see a never before seen predator catch featuring Cassidy Campbell.
We all know Cassidy Campbell. His buddies with
you guys get uncensored content. You guys get never before seen content, and most importantly, you guys get early content to all, or early access to all of my videos. So if that interests you in any way and you want to support my journey, support my work, support my cameraman, help feed him for just $8 a month, but you get the first month for free. So please do that. Use code BOWFREE, and I'll see you guys on Locals. Chat with me 24/7. I love talking to you guys on there. All right, without further ado, get into the video. Peace out. See you.
If I don't respond to the Rumble comments, I have to split back and forth because it doesn't show up in StreamYard. Trying to be good on the whole YouTube one.
Do you believe that you can be LGBTQ and Christian?
Of course.
And why?
Why?
Mhm.
Well,
like, what does the Bible say about it? And what makes
Jesus
what
doesn't
makes
say
it okay?
anything about it.
Okay.
Right?
You said the Bible.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about in terms of Christianity. I would say that there's nothing that says that you can't be a Christian and LGBT.
Well, approximately 13 times in the Bible, it condemns homosexuality.
Yeah, but he keeps specifically talking about the Bible, and if we're talking about Christianity, we're talking about what Christ said.
So you don't take the Bible literal, and you don't acknowledge that the Bible says that homosexuality is wrong.
Again, that's the Bible. We're not talking about the Bible. If we're talking about Christianity,
But I'm talking about
Christ.
the Bible
But we
because I'm
shouldn't be.
Christian.
No,
Why would you be
Christians
talking about the Bible?
have to be talking about the Bible.
no.
So what do you believe as a Christian? Are you biblically born again?
Well, we interpret what Jesus actually meant, not what's been misinterpreted.
Oh,
Okay. So
wait.
we're talking about the LGBT. And
So
being
you mean to
welcoming.
tell me
And
she basically stated that it's how they interpret the Bible? Sounds like something I've been saying.
completely agree, and I think we should be welcoming. But you have 1 Corinthians 6:9, Romans 1:27, you have Timothy, you have Leviticus 18:22. Clearly, it's homosexuality. Yes, it does. What does it do then?
It does not clearly condemn homosexuality.
What does it say?
A lot of those verses clearly condemn forced prostitution of male children.
So when you read
Forced
the Bible, and
prostitution
it
of male
says, when you
children.
read the Bible and it says sexual immorality, why are you forced? So this is interesting.
This is the pastor, guys.
People to leave the church.
This is interesting though, because you said you were
Leave
accepting of
now or
everyone.
trespass.
You said you were accepting of everyone. Why are you not accepting?
So
I'm
a
asking-
church that's LGBT friendly, which should be diverse, equitable, and inclusive. Yet he's asking questions about their interpretation of the Bible. And what are they doing? Not so inclusive.
You to stop this conversation like 3 times now. That's why I'm not.
But
So
you said
please
you're
leave my
you
church
said you're
now.
accepting of everyone.
I've accepted you, and I've answered
But you're
your
asking
questions.
me to leave.
Please leave my church.
I'm just asking simple questions.
I understand that.
So does this church follow the basic biblical teachings?
Well, we just interpret them differently than you do, probably. I don't know how you interpret them.
Well, I'm just asking you because
Yeah,
I'm just
okay.
interested in the church and what you guys believe.
Sure. Well, the reason I ask is we allow I'm here to support you on your spiritual journey.
Right.
So I teach what we believe, and you can accept whatever you want. I'm just here to support you.
What do
but
they
I believe
teach?
we're all one.
I
So why can't
understand
you
what you're
answer
trying
them?
to do.
What am I
Please
trying to
get out
do?
of my church.
I'm asking.
You're
simple
leaving my
questions.
church is what you're doing.
I'm asking simple
Leave
questions.
Dasher looks like he's got
my
a big old
church,
dip in
or I will
too.
call the Cookville Police Department.
All right.
Well,
There is no word in Hebrew or Greek in the Bible
Okay.
for homosexuality. It doesn't exist.
You're telling me
nowhere.
homosexuality
Do you read Greek?
didn't exist?
Do you read Greek?
Did homosexuality
Do you
exist in
stop
those
putting
times?
words in my mouth.
It's
Do
a
you
question.
read Greek?
Did homosexuality
You
exist?
don't read Greek.
Funny story. King James, the Bible people speak highly of, which in 1611 was written by 47 scholars for King James. Funny story about King James is where I'm getting to it. King James was known to sleep with men. Sometimes he's called the first openly gay king. Let that sink in.
Why is he so hostile? I'm just asking
You don't
questions.
know the Bible.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what race, color, creed, what religion you practice. We are all one in the body.
So do you believe that other religions like Islam, Judaism, do you think that they could also go to heaven? They could also go to heaven?
They're all part of God. It's very
What about me?
arrogant to think that we're the only ones that know about God, or that, to say that Christians are the only ones that are part of God.
So you don't think that Christianity
That's not
is
what
the
I've been
only
told.
religion?
Not in the way it's been misinterpreted.
It would also be Islam, so you think Islam, Judaism.
Everybody is a child of God.
Okay, interesting.
Everybody.
Now, did homosexuality exist during that time?
Do you read Aramaic?
Can you answer the question?
Oh,
Do you
wow.
read Aramaic?
Say that again.
it's existed forever.
It's existed forever. Okay, so why is it not in the Bible?
You're saying the Bible says homosexuality is bad. The Bible never speaks about homosexuality.
It's in the Bible. Go open your Bible. It says
Find
it.
me the word homosexuality in the Hebrew.
In the NIV,
Or
in
the
the
Greek.
KJV, in the
Hebrew or
ESV,
Greek?
in the Hebrew and Greek.
Or
What,
the original
so we already
Hebrew.
addressed. There's other words for that.
No.
Sexual immorality,
Absolutely not.
homosexuality.
Absolutely
You're just denying the word of God then.
I am telling you, it's not in the Bible.
And what do you think's been
For instance-
misinterpreted?
Well, he never said, you miserable sinners. He said, know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And
I know the truth.
is that we're all a part of the same Christ consciousness.
No.
So Christ wasn't his last
I mean, a
name.
good majority of them.
It's the Christ in all of us, and we're all part of the one body.
You have nothing to
So
answer.
this
I've already
comes
answered
to
your
fucking
question.
barrel
read
looking
Greek.
dude.
Why are you so angry?
You
Why is he
What
getting
happened to
angry?
love thy neighbor?
Do you
This
read
isn't
Greek?
loving thy neighbor. So homosexuality's always existed. It's
you
in
will-
the Bible. It's sexual immorality. It's homosexuality.
King
And
James.
the fact that you guys can't
In
accept
other
that
words,
is
you
wrong.
keep.
So are you saying the Bible's inaccurate?
I am saying.
Answer the question. Do you think the Bible's
I
inaccurate?
am saying that you keep spouting the same sentences over and over
Is the
again.
Sounds
Bible
familiar.
You
inaccurate?
don't have a discussion.
You don't tell my people.
You get the
To do
fuck out of
anything.
my face.
And do you take the Bible as literal?
Which passages of the Bible do you mean? Psalms, which are written in
Do you take the
poetry?
whole Bible
For the most
and
part,
believe
Bo
it as
is
literal events?
I don't understand the question because the Bible
pretty simple.
No, it's not.
Do you believe that
No,
the Bible,
listen,
the 66
listen.
books of the Bible, do you
The
believe it?
Bible is written in different forms of literature.
Mhm.
You have historical literature. You have poetry.
Mhm.
Do you take poetry literally?
So do you believe the 66 books, like the stories, the
So
laws,
the
the
Bible
morals,
is
do you think
poetry.
all of that actually happened?
What
he's
you
not-
just did,
What did I do?
you disrespected him. It's
How?
what you
He
did.
was
You're
yelling
being
at him.
disrespectful. You be
I'm just
disrespectful.
asking questions.
No, you're not.
I'm just asking
I
questions.
know what you're doing.
Why are
Get
you
out of
getting
my
up-
church.
Mark 16:15.
I
says,
don't
"Go out
care
to the-"
what
He
Mark
doesn't care what
says
the
right
Bible
now.
says. You should.
So
You're a
where in the
Christian.
Bible does it tell you to come into a
Mark,
church and treat people like this?
No, it
Huh?
actually Ephesians 5:11 says expose
You're doing a
false
great
fruit.
example
Oh,
there,
it's
buddy.
false fruits, or you can expose them outside.
And do you follow it as it
Parts
says?
of it.
So not
did.
all of it. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
parts of it are. Some is definitely metaphorical.
Okay. Do you believe in the resurrection?
Yes.
Okay.
Physical bodily resurrection, classic historical
Okay.
Christianity.
See, that was my question.
United Methodism
Mhm.
is a classic historical Christian denomination.
No,
and when it
it's not.
comes to laws, do you take the laws and follow them?
Do you?
Yeah, I try my best to. I mean, we all
So
fall.
you follow all the
we-
Old Testament laws.
We all fall short of the
Jesus
glory.
said, "I give a new law to you."
Are you going to talk over me or are you going to let me talk? I haven't disrupted anyone.
He just didn't make the laws, though.
She's pushing me. This is a pastor pushing me out of her own church.
Another
I'm
pastor
going to
pushing
leave if you ask me to leave. But I'm just saying she invited me into the room. What happened to love and acceptance? What happened to love and acceptance?
No.
I'm not afraid of anyone.
Afraid of somebody different. Stop.
Please go.
I will leave. I just don't understand. You guys preach love and acceptance. You're going into your own sermon right now.
Bless your heart.
Bless you
What
too.
did you say that's offended everybody?
I haven't offended anyone.
I don't
I'm just
understand. This
asking
is
questions
Christians
about
versus
the message.
Christians.
Nobody talk to them anymore. I will call the
But-
police.
No, you're talking over me.
we
You
all
said
fall
you were
short.
asking questions.
Yeah, we all fall short of the glory
No,
of God,
see,
but
now
we do
you're
our best.
preaching
I
to
don't.
me.
But we do our
You
best
are not
to
asking
follow God's
questions
laws.
or allowing me to answer the questions that I've
So the New
I've read
Testament,
through the Bible many
and he continues to
times.
talk over me.
Which one?
And you
The
continue
New-
to not interview. Do you understand how an interview process works?
No,
Actually,
I'm pretty
a
new
debate, I
at this
think.
actually.
Okay, I've done
Uh,
3 documentaries on faith and imagination.
That's awesome. Do you want to
Full story, bro.
No,
Okay. So the New
you're an
Testament.
asshole.
Oh,
Where are you
there's just one
going,
more thing
Santa
I'd like
Claus?
to address real
You're
quick.
not, you're not intellectual. You're not discussing.
So can
You're not
can we-
engaging in conversation.
in
You're
this
just reading a
congregation
script.
saying that you're a progressive
So you've
church?
gotten to the point on the Romans road. that-
Can we at least
that you're
can
going
can
Romans
we,
also
can
like
we
to play with
condemn
men.
abortion real quick?
Oh my God.
Can I ask you questions?
You don't want to hear the answer.
It says go into the world, preach the gospel of creation. You're not doing that.
Everybody downstairs.
It also
wants
says women shouldn't be
You know,
pastors.
but if you
I did not know that.
It says women should be silent in the church.
Hi.
Just wanted to
You
point
I
that
also
get
out.
didn't know
out
that.
of here. I'm not the minister.
Oh,
Go.
This
Yeah.
is a church pushing me. This is a
Yeah,
church
that's
pushing
right.
me.
I am. No,
This
I'm
is
not
a
the
church
church.
pushing me.
dude,
I'm
you're
not the church.
being violent.
I'm just
You're not-
asking
I'm not
simple
the
questions.
church.
I've not raised my voice once. You're and he's assaulting me now. Don't touch me, sir. Don't touch me. Don't touch
Oh, what are
me.
you going to do?
I'll call the police for assault.
Oh,
That's
no,
what
we're
I'll do.
calling the police
I'm
right
leaving.
now.
I'm leaving.
For
You're
what?
the one that's being assaulted. Calm down, sir.
Hi.
God bless you guys. I pray you guys will find true God one day. So
Go somewhere.
So in-
Abortion's next on your list.
yeah, it is.
So the word of God is first, and then
No, so in the
Yeah,
Ten
right.
Commandments,
homosexuality, and then we get to
in
abortion.
the Ten Commandments, it says, "Thou shalt not kill." So it is biblical.
So then God, if 1/6 of all pregnancies end in spontaneous abortion,
Mhm.
that
What do you mean by
being,
spontaneous abortion?
miscarriage.
Hmm.
So
Okay. He's going to be saying it's not the same. That's exactly what spontaneous abortion is, okay? It is a miscarriage. So don't.
God's killing people.
And
Okay,
that's
so
where
that's not-
all these people are probably thinking, well, if you have a miscarriage, you're going to get arrested. I'm pretty sure it talks about what kind of abortion it really is. But I don't know. I'm not a woman.
A abortion.
So thou
That's
shalt
called a
not kill.
miscarriage.
So if you eat a
It is
cow,
called an
you're
abortion.
committing a
Spontaneous
sin
abortion,
because
if
you're
you-
So there's a
killing
difference
cow.
between humans and animals.
If you look at the
Does it
Now I know
say-
they come up with the
It
abortion.
just says
thing.
kill. You're just using the word kill.
There's a
Miscarriage
difference between
being
humans
abortion.
and animals.
Does
They
it
should
say?
be
No,
arrested.
I'm leaving. I'm
Thou shalt
leaving.
not kill animals?
Can I have a hug?
Oh, she
No,
was
please,
gonna
please
hug.
don't touch me.
Well, yes,
Please
you
don't
can
touch me.
have a hug. Come with
She's
me. I'll
touching.
give you a
Please,
hug.
please.
I'll give you
Can
a
I
hug.
walk out on my own though?
Well, right there's
Can
the
you-
door.
Thank you. All right. So can we condemn abortion real quick?
Yeah, we can condemn you out the door.
Condemn me?
Out the door. Out the door.
Damn.
Condemn me?
Out the door.
Can I have a hug?
He's going to condemn you there,
out
buddy.
the door.
All right, that's about it for that one. So stunning, so brave, and so religious, man. I'm telling you. Sorry. But the next one group is not really all religious, so I'll save that one for this next video. But, well, the next video after this. So the United States is constantly trying to push a LGBTQI plus positivity narrative that, you know, it's a good thing, we should embrace it, and that we need to, you know, pretty much set the standard for the world. Europe's slowly following through. Australia probably. Obviously Asia. But what about other countries? So let's check out what they do in Botswana, Namibia, and Malawi.
Oh, the West is definitely not going to like this. Southern African countries are joining the club. We talked about Uganda and Kenya protesting LGBT marriage. And now Namibia, Botswana, and Malawi joined the WhatsApp group basically because the people of those countries went out to
I
the
didn't realize
streets
that was in the way of the
to demonstrate and show
subtitles.
their governments and Western countries that that's not something that they're willing to do or accept in their countries. Let me show you first Botswana's protest.
Demonstrations took place in the streets of Botswana's capital,
Wait, that's
Gaborone,
not
on
very
Saturday
friendly.
against legislation to make same-sex relations legal. Mostly religious groups marched across the city to voice their opposition to a bill aiming to comply with the 2019 court ruling in favor of LGBTQ rights.
No, we are saying no to abomination, no sin. Botswana is
Why
a
don't we
Christian
cancel
country.
That
Africa?
was Botswana's protest. Now
I didn't
let me
mean that
show you Malawi's
lit-
protest.
in reality. Damn, I wish it was a translation. Should have watched it all the way through. But you see the reaction is similar.
And now lastly, let's look at Namibia's protest.
As Christians from different denominations gathered to demonstrate against the recognition of same-sex marriages. The first order of business was to hand over a petition at the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security. Reading the petition, the executive chairperson of the Christian Coalition of Churches in Namibia, Dr. Shirley Magazi, called for certain laws to be amended.
As you can clearly see, most African countries and people are not ready for that move. And it seems like the Western nations, the more they see that people are not ready, the more they want to push it, the more they want to put on sanction, the more they want to show us that they're bigger than us and they can bully us and they can stop so many benefits from coming our way. But that is making it worse for the people because now Africans are thinking, okay, so you want to bully us. In that case, we want to show you that we're not going to accept it. And so they come in with full force. Before, like I know of people that would say, I don't mind. At the end of the day, it is what it is. They can live the way they want to live. But now, the more the Western world is pushing for it and the more it seems like it's an agenda, the more Africans are getting defensive and they don't even want to entertain any kind of law or bill or even a suggestion when it comes to LGBTQ. Anyways, fam, let us know down below what your thoughts are.
It's funny because the left, they're trying to push their agenda in the U.S., in which it's obviously being forced upon us, but they try to force it upon other countries in Africa. But they're actually doing the same thing to what kind of like Russia with the war in Ukraine. They're saying, hey, Russia, you should stop doing this. Ukraine, you should join NATO, blah, blah, blah. Are they going to invade Africa because they're anti-gay, anti-LGBT? That's their country. You can't really tell a country what to think or say, but apparently you can if you just take away all their funding. It's weird. We're pro-war, but we're not pro-helping third world, whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. What's this next one? Hold on, before I pull it up, it's going to be another one. This is from Liberty Hangout. I love Liberty Hangout. Caitlin is a pretty big conservative, but she says at the same time, her previous video, she's not a conservative. She says she's a libertarian, hence the name Liberty Hangout. But she does have a lot of good stuff. People remember her for, I don't know, pooping in her pants, poopy pants girl. But she also was the same senior that was walking to take her senior pictures with an AR down in campus. So, Second Amendment. Let's get to her video. I didn't queue it up. I'm an idiot. So this should be fun, guys. I saw the first couple minutes of this and I was like, you know what? I should share this.
Of lube. Yeah, so if you keep going down, do you see what that is a picture of?
Is that an armpit? What is it?
No,
Oh,
that's
yeah. I'm assuming?
close.
No.
So these are the types of books that Ron DeSantis is trying to ban.
Okay, I see where you're going. So
Where's she
you're really a Ron DeSantis. We're done.
Worry is not an adequate expression of how fearful I am of the possibility of him becoming president of the United States for many, many reasons. Ron Disaster has no chance of
Makes him
becoming
sound like a
president
superhero.
of these United States because he has shown his color. We don't need to know what he's
Why are you
going to do.
recording?
He has shown us.
We're in Florida. We know what's going on with Ron DeSantis, and he's chosen to run for president. We're letting everybody we talk to today, if you have something you want to say to Ron DeSantis or have any opinions to voters out there, please share them with our audience.
Yes, Ron, you need to learn to spread kindness and not hate and be accepting of everyone, all voters. You're not going to get these voters because you're spreading hate and
But I thought you were moving out.
creating bigotry
But it's a
that's
hostile environment.
unnecessary. We need to put the right people in office. And I'm sorry, Ron DeSantis is not it.
Who do you think would be
And
the
who
right
is?
person?
I'm still researching all of the candidates.
So how do you know
I
they're better than
haven't
Ron DeSantis?
narrowed it down just yet.
Do you think Biden would be a good option, just keeping him in going
Oh,
forward
this is
for the
for
next 4
president, I'm
years?
sorry.
Much better than Trump or Ron DeSantis. I can say that.
Yes. So you mentioned Ron DeSantis's hate and bigotry. Can you give me examples of those things that he's displayed?
Yeah, one or two.
Don't say gay in school.
That's
The
not what it's
ban
called.
on different books is ridiculous. Like, I feel that if a parent doesn't want their child to read certain books, they can tell the librarian, don't let my
All I'm
child
going to
check out
say,
this
if
book.
they're banning certain books like Animal Farm, of Mice and Men, Farewell to Arms, and all that stuff, so what's the issue with banning these gay books? Right? I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well,
But don't
she might.
squash the, First Amendment right of speech.
So I'm actually glad that you mentioned the book banning, because I feel very, very, very strongly about that. And I was wondering, I kind of want to make like a little montage of people here reading the books that he wants to ban. It's kind of like a way of saying, like, you're not going to silence us. We have a First Amendment right to read that. Would you be willing to take like one page of one of the books that he banned?
Listen to
You
this
can hold
book,
my
guys.
phone and read what it says.
Oh, I can't see it. I can't see the words.
Of course you can't. That shit was a
After the
cheeseburger.
train has left the station, so to speak, and you've had a chance to watch what? Does that say?
Douche.
Wash up your douche back there. You can have an load of fun with a healthy heaping of lube.
Yeah, so if you keep going down, do you see what that is a picture of?
Is that an armpit? What is it?
No, that's
I'm assuming.
close.
An asshole.
Yeah, so these are some of the
A man's
books that he
asshole.
wants
In
to
the sun.
ban. Do you see that?
Yeah. But these aren't the particular books I was talking about. A lot of them were mandatory reads in our literature classes
No,
in
they
middle
weren't.
school.
Do you think something like this is appropriate
I never had
to
anything
be in
like
a
that in
kid's
middle
school? Pictures of penises and instructions on how to
I had those other
masturbate.
ones.
No, not in school particularly.
Okay. So these are the types of books that Ron DeSantis is trying to ban.
Okay, I see where you're going. So you're
She was totally against
really
it
a Ron
until she
DeSantis.
found
We're
out she was a
done.
DeSantis.
It's just-
You're
crony.
spinning it. You're coming like you're against Ron DeSantis, and now
I just let you have the floor. Well, these are the books that he
Actually,
wants to
she
ban. I
never
just
came
wanted to
in
know
being
if you're
anti-DeSantis.
okay with those being in schools. She brought up the book banning, not
She's actually
me.
a Trumper.
And so I had her read some of the books that Ron DeSantis does not want in schools. And she was uncomfortable continuing to read them from me. And then she walked away. So, very first person we talked to, happy Pride, everybody. So, you're trans.
Oh, God.
Ron DeSantis is running for president.
Yeah, he's an awful person. He's an absolutely awful person
Oh, no,
who
no,
is
thank you, James.
vindictive,
Oh,
and
thank
he
you.
has personal vendettas, and he uses his political office to achieve his personal vendettas.
What
And I think that's absolutely, like, he gets mad at Disney for going against his rule, his law, saying that they think that it should be repealed, and then he takes a personal vendetta and uses it against Disney to
Wait.
attack them. So yes, he does use
takes
his
it
political office and his power
As
for
a personal vendetta towards Disney. Why? because now he wants Disney to pay their fair share by paying the taxes of the land they borrow? Could that be it? They get so much revenue, why not put it back into the state of Florida instead of pushing propaganda from the left? I hope this doesn't get banned on YouTube. Oh,
for his own personal gain.
Okay. So what personal vendetta and what's the drama with Disney? Can you break it down for me?
The drama with Disney, as far as I understand it, is that Disney said that Ron DeSantis passed the Don't Say Gay bill, and Disney said that it shouldn't have been passed.
Okay, right.
And as soon as they said that, Ron
See, this is
DeSantis
fine.
immediately starts using his
Big Brother tells you they came out immediately and said, hey, this bill that Ron DeSantis is going to put out is called the Don't Say Gay bill, and we're going to tell you why it says Don't Say Gay bill. We're just not going to tell you the whole thing. And then from there on out, anybody who has no brain cells is going to automatically say, oh yeah, it's the Don't Say Gay bill. Yeah, and it applies to everything in the state of Florida. No, bitch. It applies to K through 12.
office to start taking rights away from Disney, start trying to reincorporate or take away their land rights
meant
and
to
all of
stop
that.
Ron DeSantis is
sexualizing
our
our
governor,
children in school.
and he has decided to run for president. And we're letting people here today tell our audience across the country what's the truth about Ron DeSantis and why he would or wouldn't make a good president.
I just feel like the struggle I have with
Wait till
him
she does later when she gets
that
triggered.
he's very one-sided, very individual-minded, and very old-school-minded in this, like, he
Define old
just
school
doesn't
minded.
accept anybody that's different in any way. And I feel like a lot of people, like, yes, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, well, he doesn't accept LGBT, but he has so many problems with so many people, including even women. Like, if you are a woman, how can you vote for him?
What do you think voters should consider as a Floridian?
First of all, I really don't think he's going to. I think Trump is a lot more popular, and I really do. I really think, even though I personally do not like Trump, I think that Trump has a backing. I think that Trump has way more of a backing than DeSantis. So I'm really not technically worried about him getting the nomination unless Trump can't run because of the whatever's going on right now.
Well, even if Trump
he did,
had won, I don't
if
think
Trump
it'll be
wasn't able to run, I
DeSantis.
could see DeSantis winning.
It'll be a head for head. And
Let's
critics
just do
come
a
in.
hypothetical.
Yes, but
what do you think the country should know about DeSantis?
I think the country should know that Ron DeSantis is a very insecure man who does not need to be running the country.
I mean, he
he's
did
very
pretty good in
insecure
Florida.
and very vindictive, and that's not the type of person that we should be electing as our leaders.
Hateful, incompetent, not for.
First of all, Rose, Trump is vindictive. Have you not seen the Biden-Obama administrations? What is it, Clinton, Obama, Biden, the Cobbs? Yeah. They take shit personally.
For the community.
Okay.
Just really, I feel like he's really reaching for conservatives and using that to spread hatred. He's forgetting about
Oh, no,
all the
she
people
way
that are
bigger
from
than
here that are LGBT and, just people here.
So what are some examples of his hate or his rhetoric against people and LGBTQ?
Just not allowing people to be themselves, like actively trying to squash people from the state that he lives in, just trying to say that they can't say how they feel, they can't talk about their home life, their relationships, like they're saying that they're grooming people when they're just talking about their lives. Like there are kids that have.
All right, Swamp Donkey. They should not be talking about personal life, sex lives, home lives, period, at school. Okay? And God, no wonder you identify as trans.
Have two moms and two dads. There are kids that are LGBTQ and questioning, and they attend these schools and they live in the state. They were born and raised here. So it's just, and also losing jobs, like the immigration laws that he's doing with like not hiring people and stuff. We need hospitality workers.
When you listen to this, she sounds so fucking racist and entitled. Like, obviously she's got that white privilege. I don't know why I couldn't remember.
We need farm workers in this state. We need Disney. These create
Charlie,
all
back
these
up.
jobs. Body workers. We need that he's doing with like not hiring people and stuff. We need hospitality workers. We need farm workers in this state. We need Disney. These create all these jobs.
Disney's not leaving.
And he's just not caring.
Farm workers,
Right.
huh?
So he's not caring much. Do you think immigrants are the ones who would do those jobs? Without the immigrants, we wouldn't?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I run the highest funded youth nonprofit in the country called Sea Alliance. We're here registering voters on both sides of the party, and we're just working to make sure people can access their civic power. Unfortunately, Ron DeSantis has disenfranchised voters across the state of Florida. He's making it hard for young people to vote. He's making it hard for marginalized people to vote, and we need to invest in that. We need to work to make sure.
Here's the thing I understand. They're saying they're making it difficult to vote. By how? Forcing you to register and be legally allowed to vote? Making you have to show an ID to vote? What's wrong with that? I mean, you have to show some form of identification to go to the bank. Why not to vote? You have to show a form of identification to drive. Why not to vote? But that's besides the point. It's not hard to get to register to vote. You can do the shit on the internet. Hell, next month. I mean, I took my daughters to register to vote once they turned of age. It's not hard. It takes, depending on the state, 5 minutes to fill out the application. Exactly. You can do it online.
Everyone, no matter who they are, has a voice in our political process, and Ron DeSantis doesn't care about that. If you don't look like him, if you don't think like him, and if you don't talk like him, he doesn't want you to participate in politics, and we're here to change that.
I'm going to disagree with you because Florida is very diverse. It has a lot of the Hispanic community.
I know, but if you look at
how is he preventing marginalized people from voting?
So he's done a lot to disenfranchise marginalized voters recently with immigration rules. That's going to make it very, very difficult for any immigrant.
So this is the guy. He has been able to memorize that script, that propaganda so well that he repeats it exactly the same, but he says it really, really, really fast. So you're like, oh yeah, whatever, dude. But oh, hey, he supports, the left or the right. But I'm gonna go with this guy tells me to do.
To touch a voter registration form, and it's going to make it very, very difficult for any organizations who work with the immigrant population to register voters, which is a direct attack on that community, which makes up a large part of Florida and should be represented in our votes, but are not anymore.
But if you're a citizen, you can vote.
Not always. It's very difficult to be able to access voter information, and we're seeing cuts across the board that make it hard for nonprofit organizations to register voters, which means then it's only the state.
You said have the chance to vote. Do you mean it's difficult to get to the voting booth and have information? But they can vote.
But it's also difficult.
But they can vote, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, that's a very simplistic thing. It's like saying, oh, you can drive a car, but it's like, oh, can I afford a car? Can I put gas in the car? It's a very difficult process
not
to be able
the
to
same
register
as
vote,
voting.
get that information, complete it to the ballot. And there's a lot of things Ron DeSantis is doing that makes that intentionally more difficult. See, we've seen states that have taken.
Did this motherfucker just compare buying a car to voting? Where the fuck does he make that comparison? You have to fill out paperwork, maybe?
Taken intentional measures to make sure it's easier on a work day to get to the ballot. It makes seen that it's making it easier to find access on voter registration information, but Ron DeSantis is making sure that that is not accessible because he wants to be able to control the amount of people who vote. And it's smart because if you can control the voting population and concentrate it to your ideology, then you're going to be reelected. And that's what we have to fight again because I'm sure you believe in individual choice. We want to support every single person's ability to make choices on the ballot.
Everybody knows Ron DeSantis, and he's decided to run for president. Does that worry you, considering what you just mentioned? You thought that everything was going well.
Yeah. Worry is not an adequate expression of how fearful I am of the possibility of him becoming president of the United States for many, many reasons. So today we're getting petitions signed to get the woman's right to choose on the ballot. And to stop the 6-week ban because so many people don't even know they're pregnant or that they've got a severely deformed fetus that won't be viable. It scares the death out of me.
Okay. Is there? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're sisters. She's the warrior.
Yes.
I live on hope. Ron Disaster has no chance of becoming president of these United States because he has shown his color.
There's another
We
United
don't need
States?
to know what he's going to do. He has shown us.
Is there any one particular thing that worries you the most? You run on hope. But is there any? So, do you think the abortion issue is the number one issue for you when it comes to Ron DeSantis?
I have to say, even more than that, I just worry about how the integrity of government agencies is being torn down, and I think that we can count on DeSantis to keep that rolling. So that worries me the most. And then I would say just the rights being rolled back for everybody: women, gay people, trans people.
And how heartless some of these politicians are. I was just telling my sister, I saw a film clip of George Wallace being interviewed way back when he was running for president. And he was asked, why do you go out and just talk about racism? And his answer.
All right, ma'am. What you should do, you should run it back and check out Joe Biden's entire career. Listen to pretty much every speech he's ever given prior to him becoming the vice president. Tell me he wasn't racist. Tell me he wasn't anti-gay. You can't. Tell me he wasn't about incarcerating more black people. You can't. Tell me he wasn't about building up the prison population for profit. You can't.
Answer was, I tried talking about roads, I tried talking about laws, but when I say the N-word, everybody stomps their feet. And that's what DeSantis is doing.
I think Ron DeSantis is a fascist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you would.
How so?
I think that he's pushing a lot of hateful laws, and he's allowing people to feel the need that they can hate on people just because of who they are. Which is
What
wrong.
laws are those?
Like the don't say gay law and making children feel like they aren't allowed to like be themselves. I don't think that kids should, know about sex, but I think kids should know that they're allowed to feel differently. There's a lot of gay youth, and it's really confusing not knowing that it's okay to feel the way that you feel.
See that
And I
ninja
feel
that
like
just
it's
walked
making a lot
by?
of young gay children feel like they're not allowed to feel that way.
So do you think the bill literally has in there you cannot say the word gay in a public school?
They, from what I've read, they have the bill to where teachers are not allowed to talk to students at all if they want to open up about their own personal gender identity. They have to report that to parents, which can be really dangerous, and a lot of kids will get their asses beat just for wearing pink.
I don't think I've
Do
seen
you
that.
think it's appropriate
Because
for
you know who
so do
made
you
it
think
cool
it's
to wear pink for guys? Jay-Z. So shut the fuck up. I think this is a guy. No, it's not a guy. There's boobs. What a manly face. Maybe she's transitioning to a guy. I don't know.
appropriate for a parent to know about that if a child is questioning their identity?
Not always, because like I said, it can be very dangerous for the children.
Could it be dangerous the other way around if they're feeling this confusion and they're questioning and they go to a teacher who is, I mean, let's be honest, they're strangers. We don't know who they are. We don't know their personal lives. We don't know if they have a certain point of view that they want to push on children. Don't you think that that should be left up to the parents rather than someone who is not a family member, not a trusted source, because they're at the end of the day a stranger?
I think the idea of teachers being a stranger is a bad idea to have, because teachers should be someone that children can feel safe with. They're the parent while they're not with their parents. So.
No, they're teachers. A student should not feel safe in that sense around teachers, because that's the personal level. Professional level, that's where they need to remain. Whether you're in education, hospital workers, any profession, you have to maintain some sort of professionality. Well, except for McDonald's, because.
So I think that kids should feel safe around their teachers. I always felt safe with my teachers.
Right, me too. I never had a teacher that I felt unsafe with, but also their children. So how do they know who is a safe person and who isn't? I think the idea behind the bill is that only parents can interact with their children about sex, sexuality, gender identity, or anything to do with that. But it's not the teacher's job to do that.
But doesn't that then mean that sex education is not okay?
I would say that, yes.
So do you?
Here's my thing. There's certain. I do believe in teaching sex ed in schools, but I believe it's something they should be taught as a freshman year, as part of like human, and not really human anatomy, our health. We had health class, right? Well, other than that, they shouldn't teach it below 9th grade.
Do you think that children shouldn't learn about puberty and like how their bodies develop and how their hormones like make them feel?
It's not in a public school.
Well, that's kind of stupid. I think kids should know that because the parents aren't going to teach them that. That's why all of these like Republican kids have teen pregnancies and either kill the kid or just have a really unhappy life because they have a teen pregnancy when all they were taught was abstinence. If we have
Conservative kids having babies, blah, blah, blah. I don't know many conservatives that have kids before they graduate. I really don't.
of a more open sex education, I think that less teen pregnancies would occur, and I think that there would be less dangerous situations like that.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. I don't think it's the public school's job. I think that's the parents' job.
Okay.
And so that's my opinion. I think that's what the bill is going
Watch her
for.
call you
So,
stupid.
yeah. Anyway, you said he was a fascist. Any other examples of his fascism?
Real quick smile.
What's up, Jay?
I think I'm done for now. Thank you.
Of course you
All
are.
right. If you
All
think of
right,
any
have a
more,
nice
you
day.
know where to find
All right,
me.
bye.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, whoa, that one ended quick. And let's see. Oh, since we were talking about, government and them controlling stuff, I also like to talk about our lovely, vice president, right? We all know who our vice president is, right? Vice President Kamala Harris. We might have heard of her once or twice. But what you're about to witness is amazing because it shows you the media is lying. Mainstream media and social media. It's amazing.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm with Trump for real.
Have you colored your hair? I know what I did. I set it up.
Well, I don't know. He's a unique figure. How old are you?
All right. Back to it.
Do not.
My bad, guys. I'm a little slow.
Do not come.
Oh.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Okay. Makes sense.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. We're in downtown Tampa, Florida today, speaking with members of the oldest black fraternity in America, Kappa Alpha Psi. This is also the largest black fraternity in America. They are loud. They are proud. You would assume these fine gentlemen would have something nice to say about Kamala Harris. Let's go find out. Any favorite Kamala Harris quotes?
Nope, y'all know any?
Kamala Harris quotes?
Sorry.
When we talk about the children of the community, they are children of the community.
What is your favorite Kamala Harris quote?
I don't have one.
You need to get to go.
That's weird.
You need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
Stop it. Get some help.
Do you have a favorite Kamala Harris accomplishment?
Kamala Harris accomplishment. You know what? If I would have known of one, then I would have thought of one.
I just love the idea of exploring the unknown.
What is your favorite Kamala Harris accomplishment?
Favorite?
Does she have any?
I'm not sure.
That's okay.
She wasn't.
Come on, she's vice president. Sir,
Where you
please.
going,
The children need to know.
Well, damn.
What is your favorite Kamala Harris accomplishment?
Kamala Harris. She, where she is now.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time,
Very significant.
right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Kamala Harris, she's vice president of the United States. What's your favorite accomplishment?
Her doing a good job.
What does that mean?
I don't know because I don't know who she is.
I don't know.
Oh.
All right. I think she's actually said that, so you'd be right. Being her?
Mm-hmm.
Just being Kamala Harris?
Just being Kamala Harris.
All right. That's positive.
Who doesn't love a yellow school bus? They will remain yellow, but their heart will be green.
What?
Look, everyone, Hunter Biden's here on the Burisma
Oh, no
yacht.
shit.
Who knew he was invited? He's a guest speaker.
Hey, fellas!
Look what I found in my pocket. Look, a year's salary right here. What I call them? Fun coupons.
Is it your yacht? You can tell us.
No, it's not my yacht. My yacht will be on that boat right now.
What is your favorite Kamala Harris accomplishment?
Carmilla. Accomplishment. She's done a good job.
And we're gonna say we're not having that. We're not playing that.
No, sir. Answer the question of the day. Question of the day. What's your favorite Kamala Harris accomplishment?
Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris.
Being born.
Being born. Okay. All right. You know, the interesting thing is that under Kamala Harris's plans, a lot less babies would be born. So actually, that guy knew what he was talking about.
Just being vice president.
As the Vice President of the United States, to say, Dub Nation is in the house.
Some people are like, well, Joe Biden's a little old. Maybe it's going to be Kamala. What do you think?
He's in there. You know, we'll see what's happening next. You know, the world is a topsy-turvy. A lot of things have changed throughout the years, as we all understand. And you just got to embrace it. Or if not, you move to Cuba.
He was kind of nice.
Royce is Cuban.
Well, that's fine.
No, don't send me back.
Once this tour is done,
That's so racist.
Trump
Like younger person.
It's always old presidents in office, so I feel like, but we just need to make that trend toward
honestly, the whole Trump thing, bro. I feel like Trump has done. When Trump was in office, he did way more than Biden has since his tenure. You know what I mean? I have no problem with Trump.
Whoa, I didn't see that.
This is something personal, and you can say no. I don't want to answer that. But have you colored your hair the same color as Donald Trump's hair?
That's a crazy question.
And that's okay if you go to the same barber. That's fine. You can admit that. I think that's an honor.
He's a good interviewer.
Yeah, this is funny.
You can say it's personal. I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to tell you my barber.
It's personal.
Yeah, okay.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
She certainly is as more
Did she
qualified
really say
than
that?
someone who we most recently had who was in the seat of president.
I think your mustache is one of the most qualifying thing I've ever seen. It's 100%. A fantastic mustache.
Thank you.
So I think the team is good where it is.
Some people are like, oh, maybe Biden step aside. Maybe it's time for Kamala.
No.
You can charge your phone on your way home from work. That's good stuff.
What about Kamala Harris versus Trump?
If we're going to go with what she's done with Biden, she would have to do a little bit more. Biden hasn't followed through on all his steps that he's promised us. So we're just waiting on
Well, he's saying
the
Trump.
debt relief and all that. So
That's what sets him aside from Trump.
Yeah.
Trump took action. You know what I mean?
Right. Student debt relief,
Yeah.
right? And student loan relief. Yep.
I mean, we're students, so we need that.
And Biden's like, I'm going to do that, and it hadn't been done, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like woke
True
and-
internet suffered depression.
Well, just all talk. I need action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went home one day and I said, well, why are conservatives bad, Mommy? Because I thought we were supposed to conserve things.
That was amazing.
Joe Biden's administration
Best
is like 1 to
joke
10.
I've heard
How do you
all
think it's going?
seconds.
1 to 10 on him?
Yeah.
It's honestly a ticking time bomb to me, but shoot, I'm not political. I just see how it is.
What do you mean by that? You think he's like a little up there?
A little up there, down there, around the way, different dimension, different world. I don't know. He's a unique figure.
Come on, man.
Fair.
Give me a little break here.
Rating out of 10, 1 to 10. How do you think the administration is doing?
Just my opinion, about a 7, 7.5, something like that.
Said 7.
Yeah,
compared to what he was faced with
coming into the office,
Yeah.
I would say about a 7.
Yeah.
Welcome back to America. Some people told us we might have to go to Cuba if Kamala Harris becomes president.
Move to Cuba.
Too good.
Dumbass.
Well, we did get a lot of quotes.
All right, that was a good one. I like that. A little humor, a little bit away from the humor. This is, good video, especially for you auditors out there. Because this detective, or this sergeant, was definitely a piece of shit who should not be on the police force. So a firefighter showed up to a male laying in the street. Male, I think, had a gunshot wound. So the firefighter, obviously, ex-firefighter, went to render aid, saw that he had a pistol. So he cleared the pistol, racked out all the rounds, put it to the side. Dude also had a knife. Took the knife, moved to the side, and started treating. And then Officer Dickhead shows up. So that's all I'm going to say. We'll see what happens. Bless you.
Saving somebody's life is the most heroic thing you can do, right? But in this video, we will see how a police officer even made this heroic deed something that the person involved in saving a shooting victim would regret his whole life. On October 9th, 2020, a retired firefighter, Joseph Garces, was driving his Jeep in Santa Paula, California, when he noticed a man named Samir Salgado lying in a parking lot covered in a liquid. Upon approaching Salgado, Garces realized that the liquid was blood and that the man had been shot in the face. The man was armed with both a gun and a knife tucked into his waistband. Garces quickly seized the gun, unloaded it, and carefully placed it on the floorboard of his Jeep. Then he retrieved the knife, using it to carefully cut open the man's shirt before immediately starting to administer CPR. But little did Garces know that this act of kindness would cost him deeply. Soon after he started administering CPR, several police officers and paramedics from the Santa Paula Police Department arrived on the scene and took charge of the CPR. Instead of appreciating Mr. Garces for trying to save a life, they made things worse for him.
Don't go to the car. Don't go to that car. Stay over here. Stay over here. Stay over here. Come over here. That's your car?
That's my car. I was driving by. I saw him.
Garces told the officers that he was just passing by when he saw the victim and that he was only there to help. He also told the cops that Salgado wasn't breathing and that he didn't detect a pulse, so his training kicked in and he started performing CPR. But there wasn't much maturity in the police officers' way of handling the situation. They started investigating Garces like he was one of the shooters.
Okay.
Not a part of this.
We don't know anything about that. We see a gun in the car. You're not going there. Do you have your ID?
It's in the car.
What's your name?
Joe Garces.
As the first responding officers continued interviewing Garces, another officer, Detective Chris Rivera, arrived on the scene, who, without even taking into account what had happened, asked other officers to get this guy out of here. Garces, who was already tired of the cops' nonstop questioning, didn't like Rivera's attitude at all.
He's a witness.
Why is there only one guy over there doing CPR?
Huh?
All those fucking cops standing
Yeah, and I'm
around.
here helping him, so step the off. Okay? If you're a good detective, you wouldn't be yelling at me right now. You'd be taking care of your job.
After getting a strong reply from Garces, it was clear that Detective Rivera's ego had been hurt. "Get out of my crime scene," he started yelling at Garces.
Get out of my crime scene. What are you going to do to me? Get out of my crime scene. I'm going to make you next time. Get out of my crime scene.
Come with me, Mr. Garces.
Make him, huh?
Mr. Garces.
Knowing that Detective Rivera was looking for a reason to arrest him, Garces complied with his lawful but rude requirement and left the crime scene. But even then, Rivera wasn't happy and continued yelling. Garces reminded him and other responding police officers that he had worked with the Santa Paula PD for 27 years while being a firefighter. But there was no change in Rivera's attitude, who continued screaming at Garces even though he had left his crime scene.
No wonder people don't give you guys the benefit of the doubt. And I work with you 27 years. Why do I get my car back then? Hey, tell them. Thank you for teaching me not to be helpful, you fat piece.
Garces told the
Not illegal.
officers that their arrogance was the main reason why many citizens have begun to treat them with less respect. However, instead of taking this feedback coming from a retired firefighter as something to work with, Detective Rivera took it personally, and his patience gave up. Rivera left the crime scene and ran toward Garces.
You need to calm him. I need you to back up. No,
I got him. Come here.
They're being awfully handsy. Oh, that's a little handsy.
Upon approaching Garces, Detective Rivera forcibly put his hands on Garces' shoulders and C-clamped his forearm and elbow. Now, this was a totally bad move on the detective's part. In order for an officer's use of force against a citizen to be constitutional, it must be reasonable under the Fourth Amendment. You see, the Fourth Amendment gives citizens the right to be secure in
Know
their
your
person
rights,
against
guys.
unreasonable seizures. Since there was no violence from Garces' side, Detective Rivera grabbing him in that manner was completely unreasonable. In addition to that, whenever detaining or arresting a citizen, police officers shall inform the citizen that he is being detained or arrested. As we can see, without giving a single warning to him, Detective Rivera violently grabbed Garces and forced him against a tree. But the Constitution wasn't the only thing that Detective Rivera violated while arresting Garces. He also breached the policy of the Santa Paula Police Department. According to the SPPD use of force policy, officers shall use only that amount of force that reasonably appears necessary given the facts and totality of the circumstances known to or perceived by the officer.
Take it down a notch. Somebody here's not controlling themselves. It's you. Take it down. Don't be a hypocrite. I take it. Yeah, don't be a hypocrite.
Talk like adults. I'll let you go.
Hey, did you start talking to me like an adult?
You understand why
Do you see what you're doing wrong? Yes.
Do you want to go for 148 for being in the crime scene? Just because sergeants of children know how to do their job.
You're saying your sergeant doesn't know how to do his job?
Take it.
He did.
Rivera handcuffed Garces, put him under arrest. However, realizing that he would only make things worse, he gave the custody of Garces to another officer who was way more well-behaved and reasonable than him.
Just so you know, I'm retired because of PTSD, major anxiety problems. Being in handcuffs doesn't help me. I know you guys got to do it. Keep
not Lawa.
He is accelerating this way more than I am.
I won't let him talk to you. You want the windows down or anything?
The officer informed Garces
Morning,
that he
Denise.
was being detained despite him being handcuffed. But even in order to detain a citizen, the officers need to have a reasonably
good
articulated suspicion that the citizen has committed, is committing, or is about to commit a crime, which was clearly missing in the case of Garces. Sure, Garces was yelling, arguing with the detective, but that doesn't mean that he was doing anything illegal. Garces had even left the crime scene on the demand of the officer, and his actions became reasonable when you consider Detective Rivera's attitude and actions, who was continuously criticizing Garces. Even according to the First Amendment, Garces' right to speech is protected, even if it is intended to interfere with the performance of an officer's duty, which was clearly not the case, as Rivera had all the liberty to work on the case and not get involved in an argument with Garces. It seems that either Detective Rivera didn't know anything about Garces' rights, or if he did know, he didn't pay much respect to him and proceeded to violate them. The officers held Garces in the back of a police car for 15 minutes before Detective Rivera took off the handcuffs and informed him that he was free to go. However, the damage had already been done. Garces told the officers that he wasn't feeling well and then he needed to see a doctor. Shortly after, an ambulance was called to the scene and Garces was transported to Community Memorial Hospital, where he received treatment for a dislocated shoulder and torn labrum, which was surgically repaired. While Garces was undergoing surgery, the shooting victim that he had helped earlier by performing CPR,
Pretty much
Samir Salgado, was
fucked his
also getting
shoulder
better
up.
in the hospital. Fortunately, he survived the shooting, and his victimizer, a 42-year-old Santa Paula resident, Richard Valencia, was arrested and charged with attempted murder shortly after. The case is still pending in court to this day. After fully recovering from the injuries, Joseph Garces came forward to hold Rivera accountable for the violation of his rights. On August
And
19,
nothing happened.
2021, Garces filed a federal lawsuit against Detective Rivera in the city of Santa Paula, claiming that his civil rights had been violated. The lawsuit also contained a federal claim regarding the excessive use of force. But to Garces' surprise, in the hearing of March 24, 2023, U.S. District Judge Fernando L. Anaya Rocha ruled that Rivera had qualified immunity and couldn't be held liable for the federal.
This is why they should end qualified immunity. They want people to trust the cops? Show it. Again, not all cops are bad, but it protects the bad cops.
Excessive force because Judge Fernando didn't consider a C-clamp as a violation of the Fourth Amendment. The case will now proceed against the city of Santa Paula, but not Rivera. The city's expert, former Pasadena Police Chief Philip Sanchez, testified that Rivera did nothing wrong. But there are also some people who sided with Garces. I kind of feel for this guy, the SFSU professor Jeffrey Snipes said, referring to Garces. He stops, he renders aid. Everything is cool, calm, and collected until this officer shows up. He probably saves this guy's life. Every single step he takes is appropriate. He takes the gun, takes the bullets out, removes the knife, and then Rivera gets on the scene and upends the whole thing. We saw from the moment Detective Rivera arrived on the scene, he started talking down on Garces, who was doing nothing wrong but helping the victim. Rivera yelled at Garces and asked his subordinates to get Garces out of the spot. It was clear that Rivera didn't want anybody to do what he believed was his duty. While Garces was providing a witness statement, Rivera lashed out at him without thinking for a second that this man had saved the life of a shooting victim moments ago. As if that wasn't enough, after kicking Garces out of the crime scene, Rivera followed him to the other side and then proceeded to use excessive force against him. Rivera's actions look even worse when you consider that he had received training for de-escalating the situation and not escalating it, which is exactly what he did. Rivera let his ego take over the situation and made matters worse. If the police are to have a respectful relationship with citizens, and if they want to cooperate with other professions, they have to respect other humans and their contribution to society, just like other citizens are to respect their profession. If you want to watch more of these videos.
It's a little crazy, right? Happens every day. Like I said, man, there's good cops, there's bad cops. The thing is, how do we hold people accountable if they give qualified immunity? That's why they should end it. Because imagine how many people's charges would have been dropped. How many people shouldn't have been arrested? How many cities and police departments should pay out for violating Fourth Amendment rights? None of them will happen. And you know why? because maybe our lawmakers aren't real. Hear me out. Remember the lady in the back of the plane? That motherfucker's not real. Check this out.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning to everyone. Just have some administrative matters first. I wanted to introduce into the
Now, this is Delegate Stacey Abrams, or Stacey Plaskett. I believe she's the Virgin Islands. And pay attention to this. They'll give you a split screen. It's just weird to see what's going on. So let's check this out.
record, page 55 from the committee's interview with FBI employee Roya Demlow, who you just spoke about, which took place on July 17, 2023. In that line, she says, the question was asked, okay, if someone were to leave here today, were to leave this interview and were to suggest or imply that when you said the laptop was real, that it meant that the FBI had affirmatively determined in October 2020 that the laptop belonged to Hunter Biden, that the contents belonged to Hunter Biden, and that the contents had not been manipulated in some way, would they be representing what you said, correct? Answer by Ms. Demlow. They would be representing what I said because I don't have much knowledge of that. They would be misrepresenting what I said because I don't have much knowledge of that.
Why is she mouthing it?
Because this committee likes to misrepresent.
Maybe she wrote it. Okay, I'll
or
give her the
leave
benefit of
off
the doubt.
complete sentences of what individuals said. I'd like to introduce this into the record. at this
So
time.
kind of odd.
Thank you. And as to no comment by an FBI, that's usually what they say when there's an ongoing investigation, particularly when it's a couple of days
She always
before
wide-eyed
an
like that?
election. You
Nope.
don't have the right to a platform.
All right, that was all I wanted to show on that one. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, but you know what? I know the truth. Before anybody says this, put it on big screen. That's exactly what it says. And I'm that guy that will. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed the videos I've showed you today. I am not trying to persuade you in anything, either way, left or right, up, down, or in a circle. I'm just here telling you to think. Like I said, I'm not telling you how to think. I'm just telling you how to think because it's one thing listening to what someone says and just taking it as word. And the other thing is actually finding it out. Everything that I showed you here is I actually verified before I showed it, as far as fact-wise, and it's not hard to see it. A lot of this stuff's out in front of you, right in front of our faces, and you won't see it, or it's being normalized by indoctrination, by the radio, by social media, by the, well, mainstream media, by movies, you know, activists, TikTok. It's the reach is out there. So keep an eye out, guys, ladies. Don't trust anyone, even if you've known them for like 20 years. A lot of times causes people to do strange things. So hope you all enjoyed the show, and I'll see you next time.